Okay, so night navigation station is one of the hardest stations at night ops. Um, it's just map and compass, just something about it just throws people off a lot. So I wanted to explain to you guys what it is that we typically do at this station, so you have the ability to prepare better. So the first thing you do when you get to the station, you check in, and they point you out to where we've got the pacing posts set up. So these are two stakes that are 50 feet apart. We measure it with a long measuring tape. And this allows you to determine your pace. So your pace is typically your natural stride. So if you're standing, that would be your pace. For instance, my pace is typically about 5 feet. So I know like every step I take is 2.5 feet. But basically lets you know if you needed to go 50 feet or 100 feet or 75 feet, how many steps would you need to take? What's your pace? This is important because when you're ready to start, you are assigned one of the starting stakes, and each stake has a different, different test. That way, you can't really just follow the person beside you. You're not all going to be on top of each other. So you'll have a sheet of paper, and it will instruct you to go, for instance, go 50 feet at a bearing of 40 degrees, go 50 feet at a bearing of 320 degrees, go 75 feet at a bearing of 200 degrees. Typically, we don't ever do just 50 feet. I try to do at least one 50 foot, but sometimes it's 50, 75, 100. However we do it, we make sure that if you do it perfectly, you should end up directly at an ending stake. So on your piece of paper, you would note which stake you ended at or were closest to. Of the people, this is also a timed event, so when you go out and you do that, you come back. Of the people who got it correct, we then look at the time. So if you got it correct and you were the second fastest, you'd be second place. Or if you got it correct and you were the fastest, you'd be the fastest. But let's say you got the correct stake, but you took longer than anyone else. You will still beat the person who was one stake off, or the patrol that was one stake off. So we do it in those groupings. So time is the tiebreaker. It's not the biggest thing. So if you get out here, time is a consideration, but accuracy is crucial. So something else that we sometimes throw in, sometimes we don't, is an extra tiebreaker. Sometimes we do this. We'll generally have 4 stakes set up. And so your patrol goes up to, say, the green stake, or sometimes they're numbered or lettered. And on your sheet, you'll say, okay, we were at this stake, and we took the bearings of the red glow stick and the blue glow stick, or whatever colors we're using. And so you just stand there, and you pull out your compass and go, okay, from where we were standing, we think it is, 200 degrees for the blue stake, and then, 180 for the red one. Make sure you put the correct number in the correct box. We have had patrols who have accidentally put the bearing for the red stake in the box for the blue, and vice versa. So be paying attention to details like that. So those are some of the things that you do. This sort of thing we frequently do at Morse code station, because Morse code is it is an unmanned station, meaning there's no adults there. You have the instruction sheet in your patrol packet when you arrive. And so you go, you see the flashing light, you decode the message, and then you find whatever it is. Typically, we might wrap colorful tape around a particular object, and you go to that object and you take the bearing of the Morse code beacon from there. And that's one of the things we use as a tiebreaker for Morse code. So let me know if you have any questions. I just wanted to also note something important when you are taking a bearing. You want to, of course, make sure that you are pointing this at whatever you're taking a bearing of. So, for instance, if I was taking the bearing of this little red guy, I'd be pointing directly at it. Let's see if I do this one-handed. And I don't want to put red in the shed. So let's see if I can point most directly at it. It's not quite. It's almost, hey, it's almost directly north. That's funny. So that's like, what, 10 degrees? So that's important. When you are walking, so for instance, say we needed to go 60 degrees from the stake. You would not want to go like, okay, we got to walk that direction. You'd want to go, okay, I need to move my body to, okay, red is in the shed. I need to walk straight now. So just keep that in mind. If you're like this, walking sideways, not accurate. So those are my tips and tricks. There are different strategies that people use that you can use to become more accurate in doing this by using your teammates, whether it's having multiple people do the pacings and the bearings, or putting people out in the field and being like, more to the right. Okay, now I'm going to walk towards you. Things like that. I can't go into too much detail because, be creative. Be problem solvers. Let me know if you have any more questions regarding this sort of thing. One variation that we will sometimes do is we will have a grouping of stakes in the field, and we will say a person radioed for help. They were able to give us the bearing of the red and the blue, and oftentimes we'll make these very, significantly apart. They gave us the bearing of this and that. Which stake were they standing at when they took that bearing? And so you have to figure out how to triangulate their position while in the field. We've sometimes done that. I never know what we're doing every year. Oftentimes we'll figure that out the week or two beforehand. So let me know if you have any questions.